Peace to everybody out there, man. You'll tune in to Science with Sean. I appreciate it. Everybody for rocking with me. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. It's been a minute since we've been offline. Uh, Due to a video that we did dealing with some misinformation regarding an individual self-proclaimed doctor and a stock trader who was passing off that information as if it was facts. However, we're back in the saddle, and we're going to continue to progress the channel in a way that we actually need to, and we're going to continue to have content uploaded momentarily. For those of you who may not be subscribed to the Master Warrior Clan YouTube channel, I have done shows on the Master Warrior Clan YouTube channel regarding the latest news for COVID-19 and SARS-CoV-2, specifically COVID-19, the disease and its impact. And if you are subscribed to the Master Warrior Clan channel, please check that out. B. Lou, what's good? What's up, Demar? What up, Chairs? What's up? Miss Althea, Omar, what's good? I think you said, it says, great news. I am fully vaccinated and contracted COVID, had a sore throat for 3 days and feel almost 100% now. Okay, you had a breakthrough. Yeah, it tends to happen, especially with Omicron floating around right now. And plus, you're gonna have a percentage of people who experience breakthrough infections. That's just common. These are things that we actually do know. Man, these bots, they everywhere, yo. But anyway, man, please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, We're live. Let's get our audience up. Man. And please make sure that you like the stream if you haven't liked the stream already. And before we get into all of the information that people are here for, more specifically, I want to start today off with something special for everybody. And I kind of try to do this when I do this more often, just to get people in the mood, and then we'll progress into our bill. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use of use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, so we're going to get into the immune system made easy. If you have my book, you'll tend to get into a little bit about the immune system, some basic stuff, but we're going to expand on that body of knowledge and continue to develop that in a way that everybody can actually get to it. So before I get into what I want to get into, I'm going to start the show off with this particular video. It's about 25 minutes. We shouldn't have any uninterrupted breaks. And really, it's about 20, something like that. But we'll get through it. And I guarantee you're going to learn something here. So make sure you got your pen, pad, notebook, open mind, all that.
Welcome to Med Simplified. The immune system is the basic defense system of the body that protects us from harmful pathogens and diseases.
So if you're unaware of what he's saying, which you should be able to follow him, you know what I mean? They do a good job at trying to explain it the best that they can. But he off the rip, he talks about the defense mechanism, how the immune system is in the first 11 seconds. He wasted absolutely no time.
Hello and welcome to Med Simplified. The immune system is the basic defense system of the body that protects us from harmful pathogens and diseases.
I need to make sure that y'all fully understand what he is saying. It is the basic defense mechanism. It protects the body from, you know what I'm saying? It protects us from those pathogens and stuff. It's there. It is there all day long. But let's go.
The immune system consists of various types of cells and different proteins that kill the harmful invading microorganisms and protects our body from disease. In this video, we will discuss about the human immune system, what is the basic structure of the human immune system and how it functions. Then we will also look at some of the factors which affect your immune system and the differences between the innate and acquired immunity. You can get the lecture handouts from this video and all our other previous videos by clicking the join button below. You can also join our community at patreon.com. This will also unlock some of the cool features like behind the scenes of these videos, exclusive content, early notifications, and much more. So let's begin with the immune system. The overall function of the immune system is to prevent or limit infection. When the immune system first recognizes invasion by pathogens, it responds to address the problem. If an immune response cannot be activated when there is sufficient need, problems arise, like infections and other diseases. On the other hand, when an immune response is activated without a real threat or is not turned off once the danger passes, different problems arise, such as allergic reactions and autoimmune diseases. Let's look at the basic structure of the immune system. The immune system essentially consists of three layers of defense that protects our body from various types of attacks from microorganisms and even non-living things like toxins, metals, etc. Each layer consists of different mechanisms of immunity, and when one layer is breached or invaded, the mechanisms of the layer below it come into action until the attack is successfully controlled. The first and basic layer of human immune system is the barrier immunity, below which is the innate immunity, and finally we have the adaptive immunity or the acquired immunity. Let's decode these terms one by one and understand about the basic structure of the human immune system. So the first layer of defense in human immune system is the barrier immunity. And the most important part of barrier immunity is of course the skin. Skin is considered as the largest organ of human body with an average surface area of 1.73 meters square. In simple terms, physical barriers prevent pathogens such as bacteria and viruses from entering the organism. The skin not only provides a physical barrier that prevents any pathogens from entering our body, but it also provides protection by means of chemical and biological barriers. Skin cells produce and secrete important antimicrobial proteins that kill the invading microorganisms. The skin also contains immune cells that help to stop the microbes from invading our body. Shedding of skin epithelium, also known as desquamation, helps to remove bacteria and other infectious agents that may have adhered to the skin surface. Similar types of barrier immunity is also provided by many other surfaces present inside our body, including the surface lining of our respiratory system, the gastrointestinal system, the genitourinary system, and the surface lining of our nose and pharynx. All these types of surfaces provide a physical barrier that prevents the attack from pathogens, and they also provide various types of chemical antimicrobials which try to stop the invading pathogens at a very early stage. For example, the surface lining of our respiratory system has these small hair-like projections that are known as respiratory cilia. A special property of these cilia is that they have a particular direction of movement, by virtue of which they remove any foreign material that may have entered our lungs while breathing. This provides a strong physical barrier that prevents buildup of microorganisms and other foreign material in our lungs. Defects in the function of cilia are very common in smokers, which leads to higher incidence of chest infections. The respiratory surface also provides various types of antimicrobial chemicals like surfactants, mucus, and defensins, which help to stop the invading microorganisms. Our stomach releases strong acids with a very low pH that kills most of the microorganisms that we accidentally ingest while eating. The tears in our eyes also contain special antimicrobial proteins like lysozyme that kill many pathogens. The constant flushing of tears also prevents any buildup of foreign material in our eyes, which is also an example of barrier immunity. Goodbye.
They try to hit us with the video, this sucker. So right now, where he is in this particular video is, if you have my book, What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me, is right in line with what he was saying about the immune system. and how um, certain things compromise your immune system and certain things can help strengthen your immune system. But let's go.
So this was the first line of defense of our immune system, and this was known as the barrier immunity. Now, what happens when a microorganism, say a bacteria or a virus, evades our barrier immunity and is successful in entering our body? In that case, the microorganism is met by our next layer of immune system that is known as the innate immunity. Now, to understand about the innate immunity, you have to first understand about the meaning of the word innate. The word innate is made up of two words, in and nate. In means inside, and nate means born. So, innate is something that you're born with. Now, why this is known as the innate immunity? This is because the innate immunity is present in our body from the time we were born, meaning it is already present when we take birth. This is in comparison to our third layer of immunity, that is adaptive immunity, that develops after we were born. The innate immune system is an older evolutionary defense strategy as compared to the adaptive immunity that developed later. The innate immunity is non-specific, meaning it does not have special mechanism of action for different types of pathogens. We will discuss the differences between the innate and the adaptive immunity later in this video. Now, per se, the barrier immunity is also a part of the innate immunity since it is also present since birth. But for understanding this topic, it is better to divide these types of immunity into three categories. Now, let's talk about the innate immune system in detail. The defense system of the innate immunity consists of the various types of cells and the complement system. Let's first talk about the various types of cells of the innate immune system and look at their basic functions. The different types of cells in our innate immune system are neutrophils, mast cells, basophils, dendritic cells, eosinophils, monocytes, macrophages, and NK cells or the natural killer cells. All these cells are type of white blood cells or WBCs, also known as leukocytes. Leuko meaning white and cytes meaning cell. The neutrophils are the most abundant immune cells, making up about 60 to 70% of the total population of immune cells. They form an essential part of the innate immune system. One word you will hear a lot in this immune system is the word phagocytosis. Phagi means eating and cytosis means by a cell. So phagocytosis in simple terms is cell eating. Neutrophils are a type of phagocytes that detect and eat the pathogen. Within the cell, within the cell, the neutrophils release various enzymes that kill and digest the pathogen. They are normally found in the bloodstream and are short-lived and highly mobile as they can enter parts of tissue where other cells or molecules cannot. Neutrophils are usually the first cells to respond to any infection or inflammation. This is due to their heightened ability to sense what's going around the body by detecting special chemical signals released by pathogens and by our own body cells that tell them what's going around in the body. If you look at a neutrophil, it has some characteristic features. The first thing you would notice is the multi-lobed nucleus of the cell. This is a normal appearance of the nucleus, and this is a reason why neutrophils are also known as polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Polymorphonuclear, meaning the nucleus of the cell has multiple morphologies, meaning some neutrophils have two lobes in their nucleus, some three or four or five. So there are multiple morphologies that the nucleus of these neutrophils can have. So they are also known as the polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Another characteristic feature you would notice in the structure of these cells is the presence of large number of granules in the cytoplasm. On an average, about 200 to 250 granules are present in each neutrophil, and these granules contain many different types of enzymes, chemicals, and cytokines that have numerous functions in our immune system. The neutrophils release enzymes like myeloperoxidase, defensins, serine proteases, and various cytokines that have numerous functions in our immune system. They also release several other chemicals like alkaline phosphatase, NADPH oxidase, lysozyme that help in eliminating these pathogens. Like I told you, they are phagocytic cells that detect and eat up pathogens like bacteria. Upon ingesting the bacteria, The bacteria is contained in this bubble-like structure known as the phagosome. This phagosome gets fused with lysosome, the granule of the cell which contains the lysozyme in them, which is a type of enzyme. The combination leads to formation of a phagolysosome, where the cellular enzymes kill the bacteria and digest it. The next type of white blood cells we have are known as the eosinophils. Eosinophils also have a similar looking nucleus to neutrophils, but it usually has only two lobes, hence named as a goggle shaped nucleus. They also contain numerous cellular granules that contain different types of chemicals and enzymes. In normal individuals, eosinophils make up about 1 to 3% of the white blood cells and are responsible for combating multicellular parasites and certain bacterial infections. There are also eosinophils that play a vital role in fighting infections. When unchecked, eosinophils are responsible for tissue damage and inflammation in many diseases, including asthma. Another type of WBC of the innate immune system is the basophil. Basophils are the least common of the WBCs, representing about 0.5 to 1% of the circulating white blood cells. Basophils have a very important role in fighting the parasitic infections of the body. In addition to fighting parasitic infections, basophils play a role in preventing blood clotting as basophils contain heparin. They are also implicated in various allergic reactions. Mast cells are a type of innate immune cells that reside in the connective tissue and in the mucous membranes, like the lining of our respiratory and gastrointestinal system. Mast cells are associated with wound healing and defense against pathogens, but are often associated with allergy and anaphylaxis, which are serious allergic reactions that can cause death. Mast cells also have numerous granules in them that contain abundant quantities of histamine and heparin. Histamine dilates blood vessels, which produces the characteristic signs of inflammation, and recruits neutrophils and macrophages. They also help to link the innate and adaptive immunity to fight against pathogens. The next two important cells that we have in the innate immune system are the monocytes and the macrophages. Macrophages, from the Greek word meaning large eaters, are large phagocytic leukocytes, which are able to move outside of the vascular system by migrating across the walls of blood vessels and entering the areas between the cells in pursuit of invading pathogens. Similar types of cells, when present circulating in the blood, are known as the monocytes. We call neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils as polymorphonuclear cells. As the name indicated, their nucleus contained multiple lobes. If you look at the word monocyte, this literally means cell with one lobe nucleus. And as you can see, the nucleus of monocyte in macrophage is round to oval with only one lobe. The binding of bacterial molecules to the receptors on the surface of a macrophage triggers it to engulf and destroy the bacteria through the generation of reactive oxygen species. Pathogens also stimulate the macrophage to produce chemokines, which are special chemicals that attract other immune cells to the site of infection. Another type of innate immune cell that we have in our body is the dendritic cell. The word dendrite means branches, and these cells are known as dendritic cells because they have branch like projections from these cells. Dendritic cells are present in those tissues that are in contact with the external environment, such as the skin and the inner lining of nose, lungs, stomach, and intestines. The dendritic cells are a type of antigen presenting cells. Antigen presenting cells detect the pathogens and they take the antigens that are present on the surface of these pathogens to lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are cells of adaptive immunity that we will discuss in a bit. The dendritic cells present these antigens to the lymphocytes, and this leads to attack on the pathogen by these lymphocytes and the antibodies they produce. So they are known as the antigen presenting cells as they present the antigen to the lymphocytes. Dendritic cells are also known as the Langerhans cells after the scientist who discovered them. Type 1 interferons, secreted mainly by dendritic cells, play a central role in the body's defense against viruses. The last cell type that we will discuss in the cells of the innate immunity are the natural killer cells or the NK cells. NK cells are the component of the innate immune system that does not directly attack the invading microbes. Rather, NK cells destroy our own cells that have become defective, such as tumor cells or virus infected cells.
Real quick. So yesterday, if anybody was listening to me and Unc have a discussion about um people talking about the immune system and saying certain things, you heard Unc bring up natural killer cells, the NTK, but you've also heard me do shows on this where people try to misrepresent the information and think that your natural killer cells or NKC, or there's a mechanism that I actually do this. Now, what he's about to explain, well, he said a little bit, but they kill your own defective cells, and that's its job. But people were under the impression that because this naturally happens, that that you didn't need to be vaccinated. If you have so many cells in your body and the virus is spreading naturally through your body, this isn't going to be a solution for people. It's just way too many cells to have the potential threat of being infected and then need to be taken out. Now your immune system is working overtime, overdrive. So the improper understanding of what NKCs are led to some misinformation being spread by certain anti-vaxxers. But in the sense of you having vaccine protection and then encountering the foreign pathogen, this also helps along that process. But I'm saying but like this is because there's more to it that needs to be understood. So I hope y'all I know it's kind of boring the way he talks and things like that, and it's not the rah-rah, and we don't have 50 people in here trying to properly understand how the immune system works and functions, and why is this important in the middle of a pandemic, and did I even write a book on what SARS-CoV-2 taught me? All those things, like, people are not really interested in that. If we're not arguing over stupid stuff, you know what I mean, then it's not really heard. But it's these lessons that are valuable for all of us, because when we slow the topic down and we really deal with the nuts and bolts of the immune system, you'll start to see why zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, uh, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, um, all of these different alternatives, fall all these herbs, they fall at the wayside because none of them aid in the real fight that the immune system has to have. Even if it's B or T cell type memory, none of that aids into creating that memory, right? You take all of those things because you're thinking you're treating symptoms, but you're not developing any type of memory down the line where your vaccine, like, for instance, if you never got a booster shot or anything like that, that memory that it was naturally, that you got from your first vaccine dose, that strong fight, that last fighter, you don't know how you get to that point. So it's a complicated process, right? And we're not in school, and we have to use different methods or ways of learning to kind of get things to stick. And if we stay on the topic of just learning the basics of certain things, we could progress forward as a people and really get our hands on, our hands on this pandemic, right? And it'll benefit all of us for the greater good. So I'm gonna let them go in.
So these are various types of cells that are present in our innate immune system. Apart from the physical and chemical barriers and various types of cells, the innate immune system also has a special type of defense mechanism known as the complement system.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise.
So again, okay, I can get to this one.
The complement system is a set of about 20 proteins, and it is known as the complement system as it complements the action of the antibodies and other cells in destroying the pathogens. Meaning the complement system helps the antibodies and other immune cells to destroy the invading microbes. Many species have complement systems, including the non-mammals like plants, fishes, and some invertebrates too. The basic mechanism of action of the complement system is as follows. Whenever any pathogen enters a body, it gets recognized by antibodies present in our blood. The binding of antibody to the pathogen is the most important factor for the activation of complement system. After it is activated, a cascade of different enzymes acts on the surface of the microbe to kill it. After it is activated, a cascade of different enzymes acts on the surface of the microbe to kill it. The complement system has many different mechanisms of action, but if you want to learn about the complement system in more detail, make sure to watch the video on the topic of complement system on our channel. Links are in the description below. So this was about the innate immune system, the type of immunity that is present since birth. It is non-specific and comparatively weaker as compared to our third line of defense, that is the adaptive immunity. The adaptive immune system, also known as the acquired immune system, or more rarely, the specific immune system, is composed of highly specialized systemic cells and processes that eliminate the pathogens or prevent their growth. Adaptive immunity is not present since birth and it is created in response to exposure to a foreign substance. That is why the name adaptive immunity, as it adapts accordingly to the type of threats that we are exposed to. When a pathogen invades our first and second line of defense, it is met by the adaptive immunity, which mainly consists of lymphocytes and the antibodies they produce. Now, when a particular pathogen enters our body for the first time, the response of the adaptive immunity is minimal, as it doesn't recognize this pathogen yet. It remembers its exposure to the pathogen and stores an immunological memory of this encounter. So if we draw the first response of the adaptive immune system on a graph, it would look something like this. Upon subsequent exposure to the same pathogen, there is an amplified response of the adaptive immune system, sending multiple types of lymphocytes and antibodies that are specific for that pathogen only. This helps in successfully eliminating the pathogen. The system is highly adaptable because once encountered, the immunological memory of that pathogen remains in our system forever, and upon subsequent invasion by the same pathogen, a full mounted defense system is already present in our body. The cells of the acquired immune system are the T lymphocytes and the B lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are a subset of leukocytes, meaning they are also types of white blood cells. B cells and T cells are the major types of lymphocytes. The human body has about 2 trillion lymphocytes, constituting 20 to 40% of the WBCs. Their total mass is about the same as a brain or a liver. The peripheral blood contains 2% circulating lymphocytes. The rest of them move within the tissue spaces and the lymphatic system. The adaptive immune system is divided into two main types: the humoral immunity, which is due to the B lymphocytes, and the cellular immunity, which is due to the T lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes are again divided into two major types: the helper T cells and the cytotoxic or the killer T cells. The cytotoxic or the CD8 T cells have a major role in killing the pathogens by directly interacting with the invading microbes, whereas the helper T cells or the CD4 T cells have an indirect but a very important role in our immune system. The helper T cells are responsible for the proper functioning of the rest of the immune cells, including their close cousins, the CD8 cells. They secrete large number of growth factors and their cytokines that are essential for maturation of other types of immune cells. One of the most deadliest diseases of our century, AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, acts by killing our CD4 or the T helper cells only. Their number decreases so much that it cripples our whole immune system, and our body gets overwhelmed by a lot of infections that do not usually occur in normal healthy person. The other major type of lymphocyte in our blood are the B lymphocytes, which are responsible for the humoral immunity. The B lymphocytes produce a special type of protein known as the antibody, which looks something like this. As you can see, it is a Y-shaped structure in which the terminal end of the protein is specially designed to recognize and capture antigens that are present on the surface of bacteria and other pathogens. This, of course, happens after the B lymphocytes have had their first contact with the pathogen earlier, which led to an immunological memory stored inside these cells. Upon subsequent encounter with the same pathogen by the B lymphocytes, the cells produce a large number of antigen specific antibodies that recognize and capture the invading pathogen. Now, the antibodies do not destroy these invading pathogens by themselves, but activate a number of different mechanisms of our immune system, including the complement system and the various types of phagocytic cells like neutrophils. One of the very important function of these antibodies is known as the opsonization. This, in simple words, just means sugar coating a pill to make it more tasty. Now, what these antibodies do is that when they recognize a particular pathogen, they attach to it and they completely coat it with lots of antibodies. This is known as opsonization. The coated cell acts like a signal to other immune cells, like the neutrophils, which come and digest the coated cell. Therefore, the antibodies mark the pathogens so they can be destroyed by other immune cells. Now, there are five different types of antibodies with different roles. If you want to learn more about the structure of antibody and its function and the complement system, make sure to watch these videos on our channel. Links are in the description below. The last section of our basis of immune system will be the differences between the innate and adaptive immunity. When we look at how each type of immunity develops, the innate immunity is something that is present since our birth, while the adaptive immune system is a type of immunity that develops after we are born. Talking about specificity, the innate immunity is non specific, whereas the adaptive immunity is very specific. And I hope you are clear with the meaning of the word specificity here. Innate immunity is non-specific as it doesn't have any specialized defense systems for different types of pathogens. Rather, it uses a common defense system to kill all the types of pathogens. And a single immune defense mechanism of the innate immunity is able to defend against a wide variety of pathogens. This is in contrast to the specific immune system that has special types of antibodies and cells that are specific and act only on the pathogens they recognize. When we look at the time that each system takes to respond to an infection, the innate immune system has a very rapid response to any infection, since this type of immunity is already present in our body, while the adaptive immune system is slow to respond as it needs the first exposure to develop a memory of the pathogen. If we look at the potency of each system, the innate immune system is less potent as compared to the adaptive immunity, which just means that the adaptive immune system has more power to kill pathogens, since, of course, it has cells and antibodies that are made specifically for that pathogen. One important difference between the innate and the adaptive immune system is that the innate type of immunity is generally inherited from parents and passed off to the offsprings, while the adaptive immunity is not passed from the parents to the offspring, hence, it cannot be inherited. If we look at the evolutionary basis, the innate immunity is older and is found in both vertebrates and invertebrates, while the adaptive immune system has been developed recently and is found only in vertebrates. The various components of the innate immune system are physical and chemical barriers, phagocytic leukocytes, dendritic cells, and natural killer cells, while the adaptive immune system is composed of T cells, B cells, and the antibodies they produce. So, this was a basic overview about the human immune system. As I told you previously, You can get the lecture handouts from this video and the flashcards as well by joining our channel. Click the join button below. You can also support our channel by joining our community at patreon.com. All links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.
All right, so we kicked it off with the immune system and what we got going on. Let me send something to Kofi real quick. Kofi, all he did, I'm finna send you what he said to me and this image. That's all he did. That simple. Wow. Okay. So we just got done talking about the immune system. And like I said, there's so many nuts and bolts about the immune system that it's very complicated for one to have a discussion about how the immune system functions properly and what triggers what and to what effect does that all matter. I'm saying that in a sense to say when these herbalists or these people with these alternative medicines and all of these things are talking about fighting the virus and how they just gonna do all of these things to protect themselves, like they don't know the onset of what goes into the fight. You don't know what goes into the fight. What type of what type of fight do you think your body is in when it comes to a pathogen it's never encountered before? And even if it has encountered this pathogen before, why do you want to keep on putting your immune system at risk of losing the fight? How many reinfections do you have to have before your body gives in? You don't know the long-term effects. You don't know any of those things. You succumb to your own ignorance, which would allow you to have real big issues. And we're still struggling to treat long COVID. And I just want to let y'all know as well, if you see my email, this is some interesting stuff right there. But we're going to get into my email that y'all just seen. Find that interesting. I'm going to show it again. Let me put it on the screen. This is always an issue. It's been an issue and it continues to be an issue. But we'll probably listen to some of this stuff. It's 20 minutes and how it talks about this. This is a real big issue.
Welcome to season 2 of Track the Vax, the new normal, where we're tracking COVID vaccines and their push towards what it means for our new normal. On this podcast, in collaboration with MedPage Today, we'll take you with us as we explore every angle of the COVID-19 vaccines and life after its production, where science drives the story. I'm your host, Serena Marshall.
So that's just for y'all to know right there. We're going to come back to that. But let's get into our next topic of discussion. Unless people want to talk about the immune system real quick, I'm just glad to have my channel back. You said you like the table that he was making. Yeah, that table was dope. That's a good example of how to do things. All right, so I'm trying to read up real quick. All right, y'all ain't talking about nothing. All right, Kofi got it. So vaccine effectiveness against hospitalization admission in South Africa healthcare workers who received the homologous booster on 8026-CoV-2 during the Omicron 19 wave. Preliminary results. Of course, you know this is preliminary. I think Chavez, let me see, Chavez. I think Chavez was trying to post. Let's see. Oh, by the way, we got a copy of the book. But yeah, Chavez was trying to post this. Well, he posted this earlier today, and I didn't want to discredit him at all. But I already had this source. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to say nothing to him, but I already had the source because I knew that I was going to get into it. Basically, I'm gonna just read the abstract. It's talking about this basic. If you can follow along with me, it's going to be not too much. It's not too difficult. Remember, when you see VE, does anyone in the chat, and just a little brain teaser. Yeah, Chavez. If you looked earlier, well, you know, since I've been live and you look at when you posted the link, you know what I'm saying? You knew I already had it on the screen. But anyway, can you does anyone know what VE means? Anybody know what VE means? If you know what VE means, I might have something for you. I might. I know there's a delay, so I'm actually trying to wait a little bit. No, I ain't went over no Merc. I know what it says, but I'm trying to see if people are paying attention to know, because this is something that should jump out at our people instantly who've been following. Because when we get these abbreviations, you know what I mean? Like VE, VL, and the others that we see always jumping out. Pure, you almost had it, my guy. You almost had it. It says it on the screen, but you almost have it. You almost. I've said this a couple of times. What does VE mean? What does the VE mean? Come on, y'all. Y'all supposed to know this. This should flow right out. Like this should be like boom, and then we on to the next. These are some quick things that we could actually learn on the fly. Yeah, if your screen is blurry, that means you have to adjust your quality on your cell phone. So I would suggest you clicking on the three dots on your cell phone. If you have a Android, you click the three dots on your cell phone. It might be the same for iPhones. Go to quality, click on quality, go to advanced, and then when you click on advanced, change it to 720, screen unblurry. It is. It's literally right there, but it's taking some time. All right, so I'm gonna move on, man, because y'all tripping with no map. So Following the results of the Ensemble 2 study, which demonstrated improved vaccine efficacy, a two-dose regimen of AD26-CoV2 vaccine given 2 months apart, we expanded the Sasonke study, which it provided a single dose of AD26-CoV2 vaccine to almost 500,000 healthcare workers in South Africa to include a booster dose of the AD26-CoV2 Sasonke to enroll 227,310 healthcare workers from November 8th to the 17th of December. He got tired of waiting on somebody to try to answer, so he just answered it himself. No patience at all. Now, the enrollment commenced before the onset of Omicron-driven fourth wave in South Africa, affording us an opportunity to evaluate the early vaccine effectiveness. That's what VE means, vaccine effectiveness in preventing hospital admission of a homologous boost of the AD26-CoV2 vaccine, given 6 to 9 months after the initial vaccine in the healthcare workers. Now, they estimated the vaccine effectiveness of the vaccine booster in 69,092 healthcare workers as compared to unvaccinated individuals enrolled in the same managed care organization using the test negative design. We compared the vaccine effectiveness against COVID-19 admission for Omicron during the period of November the 15th to December the 20th. After adjusting for confounders, we observed that the VE for hospitalizations increased over time since booster dose from 63% to 84% and then 85% between 0 and 13 days, between 14 to 27 days, and 1 to 2 months post boost. We provided the first evidence of the effectiveness of a homologous AD26-CoV2 vaccine boost given 6 to 9 months after the initial single vaccination series during the period of Omicron variant circulation. This data is important given the increased reliance on the AD26-CoV2 vaccine in Africa. Now, remember, this is a preprint, still under peer review. If you want to view the whole study, you can. The abstract is suffice. Yeah, I don't need no CNN article right now. So we move on to something that we talked about the other day, vaccine effectiveness, but I wanted to come back and touch on this because it goes in line with what I want to discuss moving forward. Hospitalization surges. All right. So COVID-19 hospitalization surge among U.S. children spurs new Omicron concerns. It's a 4-minute read, and we ain't got to look at no images. We're going to get straight into the money. All right. So within weeks, Omicron fueled thousands of COVID-19 hospitalizations among children, raising new concerns about how the many unvaccinated Americans under the age of 18 will fare in this new surge. 7-day average of daily hospitalizations for children between December 21st and the 27th is up 58% nationwide in the past weeks to 334. Remember, when we looked at data the other day, it gave us the 260. All right, compared to 19% for all age groups. This data was used by the CDC and Prevention Show. Now, fewer than 25% of the 74 million Americans under 18 are vaccinated, according to the CDC. Omicron cases are expected to surge even faster across the country as schools reopen next week after the winter holiday. So doctors said it's too early to determine whether Omicron causes more severe illness in children than other variants of the coronavirus, but that it is extremely high transmissibility is one key factor that is driving up hospitalizations. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So if you remember in our conversations on the My Warrior Clan YouTube channel, oh boy, what's his name? Oh man, we got a pseudo. We got a pseudo. Tyron Jackson, stop it. You got some bad information on your hands there, brother. Doctors, you remember I kept on saying infections would increase hospitalizations, and then American Dream kept saying something about, but they saying hospitalizations are down. Hospitalizations are down. You remember how adamant he was about that? And I kept saying, the more people infected, the more potential that you're going to have going into hospitalizations, and that could lead to deaths. These things follow after infection. Says it is going to infect more people, and it is infecting more people. We've seen numbers go up. We've seen hospitalizations in kids go up. What we are seeing is that children under 5 remain unvaccinated, so there's still a relatively large population of children who are not naive, so they have no pre-existing immunity to the virus. Even in New York City, which has some of the highest vaccination rates in the United States, only around 40% of 5 to 17-year-olds are fully vaccinated, compared with more than 80% of the adults. The city health data shows this is no authorized vaccine for U.S. children under the age of 5. They're still doing testing. Man, you should have left this message alone, bro. Hospitalizations in New York City of people aged 18 and younger increased to 22 the week starting December the 5th to 109 between December 19th and 23rd. Children under the age of 5 represent almost half of the total cases. Hospitalizations of people of 18 and under in the entire state were at 184 on the 19th of December and 23rd, up to 70 between the 5th and the 11th. Other parts of the United States are seeing the same thing pretty much. Ohio has a 125% increase in hospitalizations among children 17 and under in the past 4 weeks. Florida, New Jersey, and Illinois witnessed an increase of at least doubling the 7-day average of hospitalizations under age patients with coronavirus over the past week. Slow uptake. Young children have far lower vaccination rates than other age groups, with some families hesitating to introduce a new vaccine to their youngest members. Fewer than 15% of the U.S. 5 to 11 have been fully vaccinated with Pfizer, which was authorized for that group in late October. Doctors said the more severe COVID symptoms they are seeing in hospitalized children this month include difficulty breathing, high fever, and dehydration. They need help breathing. They need help getting oxygen. They need extra hydration. They are sick enough to end up in the hospital, and that's scary for doctors, and it's scary for parents. The surge in cases occurred as schools closed for the winter holidays. Before the vaccinations, more than 1,000 classrooms have been either fully or partially quarantined due to outbreaks. The city said it will open schools for about 1 million children as planned on January the 3rd. So I'm not going to get too much into that article. You do have the ability to be able to get it. I got them all in the description. All right. So again, we have, I don't want to go back to this one, but this is COVID hospitalization hotspots across the U.S. in 5 charts. And as you can see here, this is unique. So what I want to do now is I want to show y'all something that you probably haven't seen before. This is hospital utilization by facility. This is hospital utilization, and we're looking at hospital utilization by facility. Note, COVID-19 ICU bed utilization values include both confirmed and suspected cases of COVID-19. All right. So if you look at the United States, you look at the United States, right? I'm zoom in here. Dang, I'm doing too much. If you look on my screen, well, I can't really zoom the way I want to. But I'll fix this in a minute. But anyway, when you look at the United States, as far as hospitalizations, right? Alaska is considered United States. Even Hawaii out here. So we got a better image of what's going on here, right? We need to get into what this data is actually showing. So it says, welcome. Search for an address to learn more about the nearby hospitals and weekly capacity and admissions data they've been reporting. If you don't know the address, use one of these search methods, and it provides the search methods for you. Now I'm gonna come back to this. All right, I'm gonna come back to this. This is inpatient bed utilization by state. Inpatient beds, 749,763. Hospitals reporting 6,011. Out of the hospitals reporting inpatient beds in use, there's 579,000 beds in use right now from 6,900 hospitals reporting. Look how many of these beds are for COVID patients. 90,732 of those beds are for COVID patients. So 12.26% of inpatient beds in use for COVID-19. That's 5,887 hospitals reporting. And we can go by state and we can look at shades. So if you look in the percentage of inpatient beds occupied by all states, I mean, you know, this the only place in the country where beds is low because there ain't nobody living up there. Ain't nobody here in Wyoming at all. Not living like that. All right. So it is what it is at that point. And this is last updated today, by the way. All right. So ICU bed utilization by state. Out of 6,008 reporting, there's 80,863 staff ICU beds. ICU beds in use, 63,384. COVID related, 17,481 from 6,010 hospitals reporting. 22% of the beds are COVID-19 related. All right, so now we're going to get into vaccination and testing data. We can here. This is going to give us a different chart flow. Yeah, nobody in Wyoming. I mean, Wyoming is so spread out that their clusters are condensed. See? We can get into this, but we got this right here gonna be a lot of upload. Now, y'all remember how we talked about NextStrand and how we can look at data and go through all of that? I got something for everybody right here. This is the COVID-19 diagnostic laboratory testing. The last 30 days, there was 4 million positive tests. The last 60 days, 6.6. Total for the year, we're at 54,513,516 positives. There was 654 million negatives. So out of all those people that have been testing, there's a huge lump sum of negatives. But there was 1.4 million inconclusives throughout that time period. This is some good need to know stuff because this is showing us the rate of infectivity that has transpired within the last 30 days or the last 60 days when you deal with the science. And then you look at national testing. And this is one of the reasons why we need people to go get tested. You see the new results reporting. As you can see, you'll see an onset of spikes, dips, spikes, dips, spikes, dips, spike. And right now we're in a spike. And this is just, national testing trends, because when Omicron wasn't really known to people like that until like late November, you would start seeing people getting sick or getting tested. They start feeling some type of way. Then it would curve down. Then testing will come again, and then we get more news reporting, and then next thing you know, testing is back up. By the way, you need to know this: the data, information, and disclaimers. For people like Tyrone, who came in the chat with some bogus information, talking about VAERS is reporting 955, 432 abortion spontaneous, right up 3 weeks pregnant at a time of first dose. He pulled up something from 12/21/2020. Due date would have been 9/9/2021. Miscarriage was on 1/14/2021. 6 weeks. Boy, you crazy. Boy, you crazy. But anyway, the CARES Act is sectioned in here. But more importantly, people need to read these disclaimers, and so we can battle with misinformation if they try to use it. Use this for any means. Now, I don't see a reason why they would want to use this, because this would put them at odds with what their arguments are. But my whole thing is that this hospitalization thing is a real deal thing, and you have to remember, these hospitals didn't have COVID floors before. Before 2020, hospitals didn't have a floor dedicated to COVID. My grandmother, for as long as I've known her in my life, she worked on 7 kids at Baptist Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. She dealt with patients, but they'll have a floor for like all the new babies and things of that nature. They'll be on, I think they was on like the 4th floor. So these people that was on her floor were like people who are recovering from surgery and stuff. And she dealt with people like that. Like nowadays, all these people, man, they didn't have no floor. There wasn't no floor for no pandemic at these hospitals. They had to create that type of an atmosphere in order to serve people. And then on top of that, those floors ain't no whole lot of it's not a whole lot of rooms on those floors. It might be 50 or 60 rooms on a floor, because of all the equipment and stuff like that they got to have to go in those rooms. And then you got to isolate people and things of that nature. So you got to use a floor that was dedicated to extreme isolation to now being taken up by something else for that. What up, brother Mal? You hear him? You see him? He said, correct. Never had COVID floors. So think about the adjustment that hospitals had to make in order to service people in the middle of a pandemic. Of course, loss of life was going to be significant because this was new to everybody. But today we're seeing those same surges occur after we have a vaccine that's rolling out and still have 1,500 people dying a day from a preventable disease. Yeah, that's the thing. That's such a huge adjustment psychologically and everything. Like hospitals, man, they have gone through. Now they have isolated COVID floors. Craziness. You go to these hospitals now, they don't even look the same, man. You know. And you can't even get on the COVID floor. It's a wrap. Somebody in your family on a COVID floor. You ain't even in the lobby, you at home. Straight like that. But I felt like introducing y'all to this particular tool because it was too many times that we see on social media, And this was especially geared toward dude who was trying to mislead us with some information. But people don't know that this type of stuff is out there. Like we can go track and we can narrow down. For instance, let me put my grandmother. She don't live here no more, so I don't care what y'all say. Watch how many hospitals are within her area. My grandma deceased. So she lived right here. This the street I grew up on right here. Well, one of the streets. If I go right here, this is the projects. Hold up. I'm go down 12th Avenue. Boom. Yeah. If I go right here, this the projects. I grew up in the projects. Then I moved down here by Seville because it's a park down here. And then we came back right here and moved. I hustle right here off this little side street. It's a side street down over there, down right here. But it ain't neither he not yeah, that don't matter. All right, so hospitals. Vanderbilt Hospital is right here. This is going to be Centennial / well, this is going to be I think it's St. Thomas now, but this was known as Baptist Hospital right here. You see how much I know my state? I know my city. This is my grandmother, where my grandmother used to work. This is Baptist Hospital, known as St. Thomas right now. All right. So from where her address at, right here, Vanderbilt is just right down the street. And it looked like it's really long, but if I zoomed all the way in, man, this thing, like I could literally run to Vanderbilt. They just got it on here looking a certain kind of way. These are apartments right here. And I don't know why this is right here, because there ain't nothing right there. It's 12th Avenue, and ain't no road in there. It's apartment, and houses. And you come up here, this right here is Belmont University, right here. All this is Belmont University, college. But you come on down Wedgewood till you get to right here, and you turn, and then you can get right on into Vanderbilt. All this is Vanderbilt right here. Yep. And that's why the dot is right here. But all of this is Vanderbilt's campus. And the hospitals, the children, the pediatric hospital, and the main hospital are right beside each other. You come on down and you get right here to Baptist, or now known as St. Thomas. Yep. And you got the women's hospital and all that. You got, my bad. I went to Centennial. Centennial right here, Baptist right here. When I zoomed in and seen what it was, yeah. So Baptist right here, Centennial right here. They're in close proximity. And if we go a little bit further, we get over here by DB Todd and all that, Fisk and all that. You got Meharry. They ain't gonna have it on here, but I don't know why they ain't got it as a drop. But you got Meharry. There you go. You got Meharry on over there. See, now they put the dot on Meharry. This in the hood right here. But you got Fisk University right here. If you look real closely at 17th Street, these is projects over here in this area. But if you come right here, this look like an unk. From the area view. There you go, unk. I gave you some pseudo right there. 17th Street and Meharry make an unk. I ain't lying. Look at it. There you go. And then the loop. And then the boom boom. Y'all got me messed up over here. That's an unk. Who want to argue with me that this ain't an unk? This is an unk right here. Who want to argue with me? What street did you know make an unk in a black neighborhood? Play with me if you want. But nah. So anyway, so this tells us how many inpatient beds they have. 886 inpatient beds occupied. And this is Vanderbilt. ICU beds, 252 occupied, 954 beds total, right? They got 954 beds total. And they got basically all they ICU, all their beds is there. They got 7.13% of inpatient beds available. Look at that. They only got 7% of their beds available for inpatient beds and 13% for inpatient ICU. These hospitals are full. Let's go on. St. Thomas Midtown, known as Baptist Hospital. They got some beds available. They got more, 19. And look, Vanderbilt is like this because they got children's hospitals. They got children's hospitals. So probably the majority of this is also taking into account the children. They got 19% inpatient beds available at Baptist, 25% ICU. So if there's a serious case, they at least have some beds available at Baptist. And then you go on to Centennial TriStar. But you got to remember, each one of these hospitals specialize in something different. Hold on. What Chavis talking about? Texas Children's Hospital Vice President says pediatric COVID-19 admissions are growing rapidly and the virus doesn't appear any less severe for kids. Oh, my bad. And I'm finna beat up Chavis because he talking about it's a circle. It ain't no damn circle. Zion said a circle. Chavis said I'm pseudo. You can't prove me wrong. All right. So look, don't nobody go to this hospital right here. Look at that, 2.3 miles. This is Meharry. Now, this is what's crazy is one of the most prominent people during the pandemic. This is his facilities right here. James Hildreth. But people don't go to General Hospital. They don't go to Meharry Hospital at all. They don't. They go to Baptist or they go to Vanderbilt. Nobody really goes to Meharry, right? They got all kind of beds. And they gonna keep having all kind of beds because ain't nobody gonna be going there. Because of the way that Vanderbilt is set up to fight COVID, the way that Baptist is set up to fight COVID, and the way that Centennial was set up to fight COVID, those are going to be the first three places for in the city. If it gets too severe, and let's just say the whole city is going crazy, Meharry, which is in the heart of the hood, it will flood up. I was born here. As a matter of fact, most of the black kids that are born in the city in the 70s and 80s, this is where you was at. Especially if you was a project kid. This is where you would be born at. But they got the most beds out of everybody that have availability. They got 40 or 50%. But when you look at these other major hospitals, like I keep saying, they're 10%, 12%. Look, don't nobody go to this one. Southern Hills in Little Mexico, you will die. Don't nobody want to go to TriStar Southern Hills. Nobody. You in Nashville and you just so happen to have to go to the hospital. This is one of those hospitals you bet not go to. You better listen to me. I'm telling y'all straight up and down. Do not go to this hospital. My cousin had an emergency and he couldn't breathe. He had heart problems. Instead of taking him to St. Thomas, where he should have gone, where they are known for cardiac stuff, they took this dude to Southern Hills. He never made it out of there, and we lost him at a very young age. This hospital, hot garbage. This hospital and Skyline. This hospital and Skyline Hospital, the worst. But I'm saying all of that to say, like, know what's going on with your city. Like, this tool is a useful tool for you to find out if beds are available. You know, you might be going to a hospital that's just packed and you might not be able to be taken care of at that particular hospital. And I know you don't want to go and be at a lesser hospital where you can't get the proper treatment, but unfortunately, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Show Memphis. Why I need to show Memphis for? You in Memphis? You want to talk about Malcolm? Malcolm, she on your city, bruh. Look, they really ain't got no data here. St. Jude's, you know, that's a children's hospital. They really deal with cancer and all that. Regional One Health, they low, 17, 18%. Most of them ain't reporting adequate data, so it's kind of hard. Look, you know what I'm saying? You're not getting no data from that. Dang. They ain't got no beds at the rehabilitation center. Oh, okay. Some of these places, like, look, they got, and if you look at where these places are in Memphis, you can tell based on this the location if they're gonna have some beds or not. Look at this. This place got 81% of their beds. Baptist Memorial, Creed, and ain't nobody going there. Ain't nobody going there. Gunshot victims don't even want to go there. This one's being filled up. St. Francis will be a busy hospital. Baptist Memorial, DeSoto. In Bartlett, look at this. In Bartlett, they got 0 beds and then 3% inpatient. That's in Bartlett right here. That's outside the city. That's outside the city. You see what I'm saying? But and you can tell what kind of people live over there in the area. It's more older out here near Germantown, close to Collierville, and all of that. So you will see that happen. They ain't got no data, so they probably ain't even dealing with beds over here at this hospital. I mean, whatever this is, the Compass Intervention Center. Look at y'all. I put the tool in the chat so y'all could do this stuff. I got the source in the chat where you could go in here and do all of this. Okay. Now I done turned into the demonstrator. All right, so the first hospital up is North Carolina Baptist Hospital, 16 and 11%. You know, that can go down real quick in 24 hours. This hospital, Novant Health Medical Park. I don't know anything about this hospital, but they got plenty of room for somebody who needs a bed. You ain't driving. Novant Foresight. They got 90, they got low rates, 19 and 11 percent. High Point Regional Hospital was 22%. ICU beds 4%. Ooh, so if it's some critical stuff, they real low on critical. Same thing with Novant Health Thomasonville Medical Center. They got some inpatient beds, but ICU beds is extremely low. Less than 10% is 7. So this place is really bad on ICU beds. Where you told me to look up, they real bad on ICU beds. And then they really only had one place that was over 30%. I mean, 40. Well, they had 2 places over 40%, one at 40 and one at 70%. People probably ain't going to neither one of those hospitals. A terrarium, Wake Forest. What you talking about? I'm in an 18-mile radius. I ain't in no whole whatever, so I'm only restricted to an 18-mile radius. Just don't send me to no whatever you talking about. Hold up. Novant, High Point. Novant, Lexington Memorial, Life Bright, Dave, the Moses H. Cone. I don't get that one on here. I'll look it up though. Hold up. Oh, you said at Novant? Well, then I already had it up. I had it up then. I was accurate. I was correct. Novant Health Medical Park Hospital off of South Hawthorne. Is that what you're talking about? I know, but look at Atrium Baptist. Atrium Baptist does not show up unless it's another name. Because the Baptist that they have up here, it says North Carolina Baptist Hospital. It's off of Medical Center Boulevard. So you're going to have to be more specific. They got less than 20%. It ain't going to say Wake Forest on this site, though. It'll say it where you know it to be, but it won't say it. So that's why I'm saying if you know what street it's on, then I know if this is the street you're talking about. And then the other one, it's got 71% beds. Ain't nobody going to that one, and that's Novant Health Medical Park Hospital on South Hawthorne. Ain't nobody going to that. And then Novant Health Foresight Medical, in a matter of time, they ain't going to have no beds. But this data hasn't been updated since the 16th. So we don't know if these numbers are still right and exact based on what Winston-Salem is reporting. Medical Park is a surgery center. All right. All right, this take me to my next one. I ain't finna keep looking at everybody hospitals, but the CDC boss says COVID-19 hospitalizations are comparatively low as U.S. records most new cases in a single day. When we look at articles like these, and this was 6 hours ago, it makes you think that you have sources that saying hospitalizations are rising, and then you get an article like this that says U.S. records most new cases in a single day, but it says hospitals are comparatively low, right? And they could be comparatively low based on the vaccinated group being included in that. But when you go to unvaccinated and you deal with what you're dealing with, then there lies the problem. So they're lumping everybody together, and unfortunately weren't able to succumb to some real data to find out what we need to find out. But I just wanted to bring this article into the conversation because a lot of times things like this actually get misleading. But man, I've been on here for about an hour and 25 minutes talking a whole bunch. And I don't want to bore people today. I might come back later. I'm just really had to come on here because I had to deal with deal with the fact that my channel was back and cracking. So I do want to appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode of Science with Sean. Make sure that you grab all the sources out the description of the video, review anything that you want to re-review. We'll get more into the immune system another time, and we'll try to have a conversation in that where we can slow things down and build. on the immune system. So with that being said, man, I appreciate all y'all for tuning into the the Science with Sean channel. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend. We back live on the Science with Sean. Anybody want to smoke with me on this channel can get it. It's just that simple. Oh yeah, for all of y'all who do have Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Go support the fam's Instagram. Please go support the fam's Instagram. You know what I mean? Exotic. Let me put it in the chat. If y'all need a dog in the future and you about that business, it's where you need to go. Yeah, it's also on Facebook too. Go like the Facebook page. But yeah, right there. Go support. I'll be putting up some newer, some more pictures, but I'm kind of doing it slowly to let everybody do that. I just put up a picture today of Cleopatra. So I want people to go show Cleopatra some love. You know what I'm saying? She needs a little love. So there's a little reel up with Cleopatra doing her thing. Check that out. All right, so I appreciate everybody for tuning in again, man. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend. We back live on the Science with Sean channel. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I said we're going to talk about the immune system at another time where we can be more in depth and just dedicate a show to that. We're going to get to the immune system. Thank you, ma'am.